thousands of women to know that God is love. I'm devoted to that, right? So that's exactly what we see with Mary of Bethany, is that she was devoted to nurturing Yeshua in these last days. So now we're about to go to John 12. I'll give you guys like 10 seconds to get there. John 12, if you're reading the Bible with us, okay? John 12, verse 1. Then Jesus, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which he had been dead, who he raised from the dead. So when we look at this, we have another name and we have a number. So we have the number 6, right? And then we also have Lazarus. So we know that as a name. And we know a lot of times Lazarus, Mary, and Martha, her sister, were always together, okay? And so Lazarus in this story, in this verse 1, symbolized, the spirit coming back, potential to overcome death, right? So if you don't know, Yeshua brought him back to life, right? So when I look at this, what this symbolizes is that we have to look at, let's read it again. Then Yeshua, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. We have to know that we're going through some things as women, especially business owners on this line, I see. As we're going through some things, we have to know that we can overcome some stuff too. So some of us in our business, we might have a lack of mental focus, okay? And that's keeping us dead in our business. We got to overcome that. Some of us are lazy in our business. We got everything else done. We're handling stuff as a mom, as a wife, and things like that, but we're lazy in our business, right? Or we're lazy in this or that, right? So we have to know and understand that you can rise from anything that's dead. We can rise from anything that's dead with some belief and some audacity. You can rise from anything. So you might be sitting there like I didn't want to get up yesterday and go work out. And I was like, yo, take care of your body temple, Whitney. That's what you talk about. That's what you talk about. I had to overcome that. Otherwise, I would have been here. Oh, I didn't do that. And now me not going to say I was working out and not going to work out, that's going to damage me more and paralyze me and keep me dead. So look in your life. What are some things that you need to overcome with just a little belief, right? Verse 2. There they made him supper, and Martha served, but Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the odor of ointment. That's a lot to unpack right there, but you see how we just read about the ointment, and now the ointment is here, and now we have her rubbing Yeshua's feet with it and then wiping it with her hair. In previous Bible studies, we know that the hair in the Bible, it means it's so special, right? It's so special. We hear that in last week we studied Samson's mom, Manoah's wife, and we knew that her baby was gonna have hair and nobody could touch it, right? So we know the importance of hair. So again, in verse 3, we see that she has a deep love for Yeshua, for Jesus. She has a deep love, a loving spirit for him. I'm going to use this expensive ointment again, and now I'm about to wash your feet and bless it with my hair. And we know that the hair, like we just went over, she's willing to wash the feet or wipe the ointment with the hair. And the hair is so significant in the Bible, but it also shows up like, yo, I'm kind of giving up my ego for this. I'm kind of letting go of some ego for some things. I'm using my hair the most. I think it's spiritually, it's your crown. And I'm going to wipe your feet with this. There's another point of surrender. There's another point of yo, whatever you need from me, Yeshua, however I can take care of the Christ in me, however I can take care of the God in me, right? And then it talked about a smell, and the house was filled with an odor of the ointment. So when we talk about the smell and we talk about these five senses in the book and in the word of God, when we talk about these things, right? How many of us have been somewhere, or we might get in the bathtub and we light a candle because we're yearning for the scent, right? Or some of us might light an incense, or some of us might do this. This is a symbolization that the odor filled up the from the ointment. This is like a spiritual rising, right? So this odor is now throughout the house. So now this is kind of like symbolizing that. Verse 5 or verse 4. Then saith one of the disciples, Judas, Simon's son, what should betray him? It's kind of saying again, he's kind of coming through again, like, yo, why we doing this with this ointment, right? Verse 5. Why was not the ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor? Again, what in your life is these outside things? Like, what's going on in the outside? What's going on in the outside that's asking you what's going on? Even some people look at me and it's like, yo, coach, you're not even really promoting this type of stuff no more. You're not even really going hard with your marketing company no more. You're not even going this. You're not even going this. But now I had to understand and remove the ego part of what I had going on, and know and move more in my purpose, right? So when people are looking at my business of like, yo, your marketing business usually does these numbers, right? I had to understand, listen, you guys, I have moved into my mission and purpose, and everything will be added onto me, not just the hustle of getting money and seeing how many marketing packages I can sell, right? And I promise you, I don't know the verse right now. I know somebody knows it. But wherever your riches are and your heart is and what you're supposed to be doing, that's where your money's going to be as well. So you never have to worry about it when you get in your purpose. You never have to worry about it when you get in your purpose. Verse 6. This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the bag and the bear that was put in there. This is almost saying, you guys, I forgot I wrote this down. It's like sometimes we're doing things that are just like really righteous, and then other people don't understand because they think that you should be making money from that, right? Because that's might be what they only know you for, right? But don't let anybody take you out of what you righteously feel like you should be doing or want to do for the sake of money, because when you righteously do the right thing, everything will be added on to you. So even if my girl Eki, hey you guys, Eki is on here. She's our movement coach, right? So she charges for to be an instructor, dance class, all of these things. She charges for that. Okay, she charges for that. She's an expert in that. Over, I think, 20 years of experience with that. She has a dance, like that's her thing, right? But then she chooses to serve all the women that are part of Sisters in the Scriptures as well. So if she had like a manager, like, hey, well, why are you serving those women at this rate, or blah, 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 whatever that is, right? If she let that righteousness out of her, and if she wasn't a righteous person, she might let somebody talk her out of that. Now, I don't ever believe that we should have our gifts for free or anything like that, but there's a thing as called time tithing, right? There was a point in my life I'm like, hold on, God, I ain't got nothing to tithe. I ain't got no money to tithe. Like, how else can I do that? And you can tithe by time and gifts and efforts and different things that you do. So you got to believe that that's true for you. Some people don't understand your righteous ways. Why? Because they're not righteous. So they don't get it. So they might be telling you and swaying you to do something different. Now, I don't believe that you should, if you should be getting paid for something, you're not getting paid. But also don't let people interfere with when you are doing God's work and that vision. Okay. So if you go into your kitchen today and you decide you want to get rid of a bunch of stuff and your friend comes over like, oh, you should put that on offered up. You should put that on offered up. They don't have the spiritual connection that you're moving in. Okay. So always remember that, especially when we giving. God loves a cheerful giver. Not someone who's giving and regretting and, oh, I should charge for that. Da, 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 right? Anybody who services my community, if it pulls from them in a way that they're like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this, please don't bring that energy over here. Please don't bring that energy into the system, right? Like that's not what we do. So we have to remember that people aren't as righteous as you, right? So here we got another person asking her about this expensive ointment, but she, as a woman, and her intuition winning and being an intuitive woman, she knows what's good. She knows what she's doing. Verse 7, then said Jesus, let her alone. Against the day of my burying has she kept this. So you see how this story is almost line for line in each of these gospels the same? It's Yeshua again, defending her, letting them know she knows what she's doing. Kind of like, you guys, if you were here in last week's Bible study, Manoah's wife, the husband kept asking and asking the angel, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are you doing? He said, trust your wife. I already gave her instructions. So women on the line, never get off count by what anybody else said when you heard from God, when you know from God, when you know what you're supposed to be doing, and you know why you're doing it. Okay? Verse 8, for the poor always ye have with you, but me ye have not always. And this is, like I said in the last one, about timing and winning on your opportunities and knowing when they come, they're coming and it's time now, right? And that's exactly what he's saying here again. So you need to honor these moments fully. You need to honor moments with people fully. Last night I actually went out with a friend who I haven't seen in like 7 years. If you tried to call my phone last night, it was unavailable because I was honoring the time with her. Okay. She's one of my friends who's going through some sickness and having challenges right now. And so I was so present, honoring the time with her. You need to honor these connections, these divine appointments that you have with God. You need to honor those. You need to believe them. Sometimes we talk ourselves. Sometimes in this, you are the woman with the ointment, and you are the disciple talking yourself out of something, or wondering why you should be getting paid, or wondering why you shouldn't be getting paid, or whatever it is. Okay. Verse 8. Oh, that was it. For the poor always ye have with you, but for me not always. So understanding, ladies, the divine timing that God has on your life and your purpose and what you do and what you believe and what you listen to and who you listen to and who's in your community and who's in your circle. And that's why I had to create something like this, because when I call on any of my board members or any of these women that have volunteered, and it's like, yo, I want to do this, I don't need the energy of, I don't need the other energy. I need the belief, right? And your environment is stronger than